We are proudly supported by American Express. Did you know that Square sellers automatically accept American Express for the same low rate as all other cards? Let American Express card members know that you support their payment method of choice with Square. Get your complimentary signage and suppliers at amexpop.com/square to help you attract more customers.
Yeah, I remember talking to the team that night. I cried. I cried in front of them.
The idea that we will increase our prices, and then obviously all I think about is no one will come to us anymore.
We made so many mistakes that we're always going to make.
Don't let Lorenzo measure the store.
A lot of them were terrified that the business would fail within 6 months. They said that in those words. They were like, you will not survive 6 months.
You have to try it. You have to just roll the dice. I think you have to take those risks.
This is Cool Room Confessional. In this series, we're offering hospo business owners a place to confess their problems. With some expert help, we're going to try and solve them. I'm Melissa Leong. I've been a writer, culinary critic and TV judge. Today we're speaking with an old friend, Mo Saad, who we met in episode 1. Mo's one of 4 founders who run Fricken Chicken, and this ACT team wants to go national. Let's hear what's up. We first met Mo Saad in episode 1 of Cool Room Confessional when he was helping G's Jaffles expand from a single food truck.
What a smart idea.
Was that the shipping container that was lifted in place?
Yeah, and I was like, that is just hectic.
Now, the tables have turned and our successful operator Mo needs some help with his own business. Mo and Marwan Saad grew up with a mum who knew how to cook. And there was one recipe in particular they knew they could take all the way to the bank.
Original recipe fried chicken, side of salad, side of chips, and this is something that we just had. But it wasn't until 2018 that we decided to open up a food truck just to trial it out.
That was Mo. He and his brother and their wives now run a business built on their mum's fried chicken recipe.
We launched at a food festival in Canberra known as The Forage. That was our first day. Reputation grew, the brand grew, we grew as a business as well. We decided 2 years into that journey that we've got something serious and we should open up a permanent store.
Welcome to Fricken. We have got the best fried chicken around.
Fricken Chicken is now across the ACT and it's been frickin' successful. Not bad for the team who started scoping their market from a single trailer in Canberra. Potential franchisees have now started to knock on Fricken's door.
Even 6.5 years into that journey, there's a fair bit of work that we need to do. Hopefully we can go nationally and open up in other states.
Is Fricken Chicken ready to take that on? Maybe we can help Mo find out. Mo Saad, one of the co-owners of Fricken Chicken, is here. Mo, you've been on the show before. Welcome back. This time you're in the hot seat.
Thank you for having me again.
Now, let's talk first about what Fricken Chicken does. Gluten-free fried chicken. What a dream.
Yep. So, humble beginnings, a family recipe developed by mum. Slowly started off as a food truck, so something worthy of expanding.
Fantastic. Mo, can you remind us about the scale of your business currently and why you've come on the show today?
So at the moment we're at 4 locations, 1 main brick and mortar store in Canberra CBD, 2 residencies, 1 as a food truck and 1 as a shipping container.
Right now you're considering franchising, investment, possibly new partners. Can you tell me what's on the table and what are you not considering in terms of expansion?
We're really grateful for requests to open franchise outlets.
Flattered by the interest.
For sure. And so we can keep going on our trajectory. We could definitely be at more stores, but we needed to go back to our foundation and see things as a model. Like we're not just a restaurant that has a menu, it's now a particular model. And that's how we can see the future. Like we need to really cut down. We don't need to expand the menu. If anything, we need to cut down on the menu to be able to scale. We really need to get our backyard clean.
I think this is a luxury for some businesses to be able to have the time to stop, look at what's going on, kind of pare things back where required and really make strategic choices going forward. We have a significant someone to help you on your way during this phase of your business. She's the founder of a household name brand, which is technically fast food, but not as you'd imagine it. Boost Juice is everywhere thanks to the remarkable Janine Allis, who has gone far beyond the blender these days. Janine, it is a privilege to have you on the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, look, it's very humbling. But I think just listening to Mo, he's gone, I'm lucky. There's no luck involved. You've obviously created a product that really, really resonates with the consumer. I mean, I'm on your website now having a look at your burgers. They look delicious. The way you're positioning it is just right. So obviously you're really attacking the business as the customer would.
I appreciate it.
Brett, love the name. Have you trademarked the name?
Yeah, from day one. Yeah.
Yeah, great news. So probably the question I need to ask you is what percentage of profit, what's your bottom line percentage? Talking EBITDA, not net PAT or EBIT. What's your profit percentage? Because that really dictates whether you can franchise at this point.
Okay, EBITDA. What is that? Let me read a definition. EBITDA is an acronym for earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. Investors care about EBITDA because it's a snapshot of the profitability of a business that many consider more useful than net profit.
Our business model is obviously, it started off as seasonal, having the food trucks. So we dialed that down and now are running 3 stores that are 7 days of trade. So we're at much better position now. And so we're around the 10 to 15% EBITDA.
Right. Okay.
Not always the case.
Okay. No, that's all right. 10 to 15%. Okay. So you need to get that percentage up to about 25. That's telling me your cost of goods is probably really expensive and your wages are pretty expensive, because I wouldn't expect your rent to be that expensive.
Wages for sure. Wages is definitely up there. We did have a rough patch with cost of goods, but now it's dialed back. That's below 30%. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So look, below 30% is fantastic. What's your wages?
It does vary by location to location. That's one of the main tasks that we work on for the next 6 months, is basically having a production model to be able to invoice between, so our brick and mortar store, Braddon, that does the preps for the other trucks. So the labor cost of that location is inflated because the preps happen there.
Yeah. Is there another way? The reason I say that is that I've seen a lot of businesses that have a prep kitchen or a kitchen that supplies the stores. And I find that they struggle because you really got to have a scale to be able to be effective in that area.
Yeah.
And so if you're better off being able to cook everything from scratch in individual locations.
Janine, you're advocating for centralised kitchen being more essential at a certain stage of growth rather than right at the beginning.
Or never.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
You look at some of the most successful burger places out there. You've got Grilled, you've got you got Betty's, you've got McDonald's, right? You got Burger King. They might bring in the lettuce cut, they might bring in the sauces done, but they cook everything on site.
Mo told us in episode 1 that Fricken Chicken already uses a converted container as a prep kitchen for its trucks and store. Some components, like the gluten-free and flour-based batters, are made there. They have strict protocols for their gluten-free chicken and manage its production carefully.
What you find is you go, gee, my cost of goods are at 30%, but by the way, then you add in the manufacturer, suddenly my cost of goods at 36%. Because if you're already at 10 to 15% bottom line, it's telling me something's not right in your numbers.
Yeah.
Because you should be at about 25.
Yeah.
You should be. Cost of goods you can't change, but sales you can.
Yeah.
So per month or per year, what would you do in your bricks and mortar store?
Across all, that's just shy of 5 mil at the moment.
Right. Awesome. So you've got your sales. You've got, obviously people like it. The sales are great. As you said, you've obviously had some challenges with your chicken and raw ingredients, which, to be honest, there's always a challenge. So sometimes when things get thrown at you, which is either lettuce or obviously chicken is a problem for you, you've got to always have chicken.
For sure.
But it's right there in the name.
You can kind of pivot and go, all right, well, lettuce is a problem. I'm going to actually do a special and have rocket, or I'm going to have a special and have spinach.
And Mo, you did do that, didn't you, at a time where there was a lettuce shortage? You went to Slaw for a bit?
Yeah, so we obviously all of our marketing efforts was around the items that contain slaw or not burgers, so the fried chicken boxes and things like that. And we tried to have a lighthearted twist within
The storytelling.
short form content. And one of the reels was me walking in with a chicken box, and the staff are lined up in the corridor all clapping that I've come to work with a box of chicken. And we've done similar for lettuce, and so we tried to bring the attention of the customer to it in a lighthearted way to say, look, we're struggling in this area trying to get supply, but you know, what can we do? Like, this is a national, international problem. So like, bear with us. Yeah.
Ingredient shortages and the rising cost of goods are big challenges for any hospo business. Nick Palumbo has found a way to overcome them in his own business, Gelato Messina, with an interesting investment.
We really became quite obsessive in terms of controlling, from milking our own cows and owning the dairy farm, all the way to it's our staff that are serving it to the customer, from milk to finished scoop.
Look, I think the good news is you've got such a great foundation and such a great brand, and clearly, with those sales customers that want it, it is going, what do I scale at? But before you actually decide what your business should do, you have to ask yourself, what does Mo want? Because sometimes we get caught up in the business, but you've also got to ask yourself, what do you want? Do you want to scale this all over the place? Do you want to just get 4 or 5 stores in Canberra that is just humming beautifully? What do you want?
Right now, if we look at basically Mo personally, I think at our current growth rate, we're financially okay. We're happy with where we are. We grew up poor, so what we have, we're extremely grateful for. And so growing the business is not a monetary motivation. It's not an ego thing.
Go back to my question. So, what do you want?
I would love to see Fricken going national.
You and your partners would like to see this as an Australian brand. Is that right?
100%.
It's really important because some people, what you'll find is potentially the profit you're making now, as you expand, you may make less money with double the stores.
Yes, you heard that right. Opening more venues may generate more revenue, but less profit. Here's restaurateur Joe Vegetto.
And you can make a whole heck of money doing one place really well rather than opening 3 or 4, because maybe first, second, third and fourth, number 1 and 2 have to pay for 3 and 4.
Franchising is a major undertaking. Are there any pros and cons for this growth model?
You've got to go, all right, so the systems you put in place have to be airtight.
Absolutely.
The thing with franchising, if your individual stores are making between 20 and 25%, maybe even 30%, which would be great, you are now in the ability to be able to go, okay, there's enough in it for me and there's enough in it for the franchisee. The other thing is, do you want to be corporate? There is something to be said for it's tough franchising emotionally, right? Because if it's going well, it's them. If it's going badly, it's your fault, right?
For sure.
And they give you a royalty because of the brand, but they giving you the royalty and go, what do I get for that, right? And they forget it's a branded system. However, saying that, I have got over probably 200 franchisees and most of them are incredible, right? Not only are they incredible, they contribute to the better of the business. So we look at them as genuine partners. And look, there are some of those partners that shouldn't be in the network and they take a lot of time, right? And when you get involved with franchising, you get involved with births, deaths, mental health, sexual harassment, bullying. You get the whole gamut because that is the population that you deal with. Sure, you can open 10 of those and the franchisee pays for the capital and then you get a nice little $50,000 check per store and you get the royalties. All great. But you've got to be prepared for the emotional side of it. You're better off doing company stores. Company means that if you're making 20, 30% per store, you're better off running it. Now, that has its own challenge, trying to find great managers to be able to do it.
It's the advice all our experts keep on giving throughout the series, and Janine agrees with them. Good managers are like gold and they are worth the investment in time, energy and money. It's something the young founders at Pastor Prego have already discovered.
Our manager currently, Grace, sometimes I feel like she cares more than both of us.
One of our other potential managers as well, on his 9th day, got a Pasta Prego tattoo on his arm. He loves it that much.
If you're hanging on Janine's every word, same. But I'm even more curious to hear the number one thing she wants Mo never to do. Stay with us. This podcast is thanks to Square. Hospitality has enough on their plate. Square builds business tools that help hospo businesses like yours run smoothly. It's more than just payments. From table layouts to a digital ticket system for your kitchen, it's all integrated and it all talks to each other because service still matters. Find out more at square.com/my/service.
What I would not do, and write this down, put it in highlight, do not sell areas. Do not sell someone the rights for Melbourne or Perth. Don't do it. You only sell individual franchisees ever. Don't do more than one.
Yeah.
Only one to one person. And then if they do a certain amount of things like pay bills properly, run a profitable business, all of these long list of things, then they get the right to do a second one. That is one of the people's worst mistakes is they give away a territory. So they might give away Perth because it's a long way away. Or they give someone the rights for 5 stores and they haven't proven themselves. So what I'm saying is be a protector of your brand and protector of this, because the way to be successful is to get the right people into your business to do it. And I'm talking of franchisees, managers, area leaders. So you need to fire really fast and hire really slowly.
Mo, that's a huge amount of very, very detailed and crucial information.
Massive. A wealth of knowledge and obviously a lot to take in and I'm glad this is recorded. We're treading very carefully. So many offers to open up new locations and just to buy equity in the brand.
Have you thought about some of these elements?
A year or two ago, we actually went and looked at a couple of sites and there was no consideration for a franchise. It would be one of the founders relocating and just making it work for at least 12 to 24 months and then consider any other option. One thing that kind of caught my eye overseas in America is the Chick-fil-A model. So they're all their stores are corporate owned with an operator basically running the outlet. So they have a really high salary, something that, that they obviously have a base income that's solid, but it's something like 50-50, an equal share.
Yeah, nice model. The answer is you've got to find a model that works for you. I think that what you did say, having one of the founders relocating is a must, right? It's a not negotiable, should happen, do it for 1 or 2 years, and then for them to really grow, because it's that passion that actually grows this brand. You're right with company stores. You've got to find a way of incentivizing and getting people in to have that ownership. And when you've got the right person to really love them and you are paying them well. Flight Centre have a system where people can buy in and get a portion of the profit. You can do what you said, which is they get a percentage of the profit. There's things like MEPs, which is a system where you can give people options in the business if they're still in the business. And then there's so many ways of getting people to get involved in the business, feel like they've got an ownership of the business, and also, most importantly, get rewarded for if it works for you, it works for them.
What Janine is describing is called golden handcuffs. It's a nice package that keeps valuable managers and staff in your business in an industry which typically has a high turnover.
And so there is many different models and you've got to find one that works for you. But what I would suggest is whatever model you put in place, make sure you have a cap. Make sure you have the ability to adjust and change it at any time. And do not ever give equity.
Yeah.
Right? So always do it on an option because it's also tax effective. While you're small, speak to your accountant, but there's a great way of actually doing an options program, which is very good for the staff tax-wise. If your business is under 50 million in sales, There's lots of things you can do to incentivize your staff. So it's now's the time to think about your key people, ensuring that you try and keep them because they're gold. They are gold.
100%.
What I'm hearing here, there's a huge amount of maintaining a level of control that can never get away from you as the originator, because once you let that go, then it's very hard to kind of rein it back in. Can you, for a moment, just take us back to, you know, your initial few stores and that watershed moment of, okay, I want to take this nationally. I see this being so much bigger than what it is currently.
Taking you back to that girl who's 33 years old, had 3 little children, the youngest 7 months old, right? And having no idea about business. Didn't know the difference between debit credits, never hired anyone before, GST came in the same year that we started the business, had to learn about how GST worked. So it was a massive learning curve. And I think the superpower I had was making complicated things simple and never feeling stupid to ask a question. And also making sure that every dollar I spent, I got value from. And I'm talking every dollar. So I'm going, if I had to get a lawyer, which you do because of leases and trademarks and all that sort of stuff, I wouldn't just sit there and go, tell me what the answer is. I would go, teach me.
The takeaway here is when you bring in professionals like legal, marketing, HR or trademark advisors, don't just pay them to do their thing. Watch and learn from them. You may be able to save time and money next time the same issues crop up.
I'm a student and I still believe I'm a student today. Sorry, Mo, but I'm not an expert. I'm still a student.
Very humble, very humble.
But I think it's also a wise way to be. You know, if you are constantly putting yourself in the position of I'm here to learn, then you are here to learn no matter how accomplished you are. And you are obviously significantly accomplished.
Mo might have created a system that he did just intuitively because his brain works a certain way that I go, oh my God, that is incredible. That's something, can I put that in my pocket, Mo? You know, so the day that people think that they know all the answers is the day they should just give up. So look, going back to your question, you know, I was just the students as I still am today. And I opened the first store in Adelaide. I didn't really understand what a business model was. I didn't know what cost of goods and wages, and I just had to learn it as I went. And I always approached, a bit like what Mo said, I never did it for the money. Clearly, I didn't get any money out for 5 years, and I didn't get a salary for about 3. And I think my first salary was, $25,000. But I did do it as a customer. I always went, as a customer, what do I want from Boost? So, for example, Jeff Harris has this saying. Jeff Harris is the co-founder of Flight Centre and is a friend of mine. He said, never let the tail wag the dog, right? What that means is don't let the fact that the systems that you put in place, sorry, we'd like to be better with our customers, but our system doesn't allow it. Change the system. Always make sure that the customers, everything you do is for the customer. Because what will happen is your sales will be fine. You can sort out your cost of goods later. You can sort out your labor. You can sort out your wages. You can sort out the other costs, right? But you can't sort out sales.
100%. 100%.
For listeners out there who may be in different stages of considering expansion, there are so many different models that you look at in terms of investment. What are some key caveats universally across the board for you?
I think for most people, they look on return on investment. Say if I put $100,000 into a store, how quickly do I get that $100 back? So if you say that it costs about $350,000 or what? So what is it to open a store? About $700?
To be honest, we've never opened a store from scratch. So the first store that we had, we actually took over an existing fit out. We had a lot of the core fit out there. A high production food truck, for example, that's north of $100K.
Let's assume that it costs, $500,000, $500,000 to do a proper fit out in a store that is 150 square meters, right? So just assume that it's $500,000. So you have to work out, would you make $500,000 in a year? If that's the case, great. That means that your ROI is fantastic. Does it take 2 years to make that money back? So that's the first indicator. The second thing is your EBITDA, your bottom line, your profit. What percentage of that profit is? And then if that percentage is big enough, how can I do more of it? People they love the concept, they love the brand, they want to know the story of growth. And you can point to things like Grilled, you can point to Betty's Burgers about growth. You've got all the bits going, and then you've got, the story behind the secret recipe. Name's great, it's easy to remember. So you've got all the bits.
Janine, I want to ask you, looking back on what you've achieved, would you have done anything differently, with the benefit of hindsight?
Yeah, look, absolutely. Have I made mistakes? Yes. Has my children gone, you look familiar, who are you? Sure, right? Did parents hang out with me to feel good about their parenting? Absolutely, right? But honestly, there is nothing I would change. Do things go wrong? Every day, right? But without those things going wrong, the business wouldn't be where it is today.
At what point did you look at a C-level hire to help you at that next level of growth?
You don't need it. You don't need it. At the moment, you need people with hands-on. The C-suite tends to be hands-off. So if you get a CFO, a true CFO is someone who manages a team, right? What you need is a financial manager. You need someone who's in the numbers, who gives you accurate information, who's senior enough, a good accountant to speak to the banks. But your C-suite or your CFO is your accountant, right? So don't go to that cost in getting that. I'm saying that with everything. Maybe probably the only C-suite you'd consider is a COO, right, which is a chief operating officer. So someone who is really into the minutiae, but again, hands-on. You don't need anyone hands up right now. Things like a lot of things can be externalized. I mean, you don't need IT support, clearly, but there are some great businesses that you can use that go, okay, I'm going to externalize that. I'm going to externalize which, we have another business. We have an external IT team. We use external lawyers. But then there's a point where you go, I'm actually spending $180,000 a year or $200,000 a year on legal, right? So there's always a point where you go, when is it internal? When is it external? But you've got to remember, when you're a staff member, you're paying 11% super, you're paying work cover, you're paying insurance, you're paying a computer, there's a lot of costs that come from it. So externalize as much as you can while you have shares in the business. Do not hand over the title of CEO. I've never been into titles. I'm just Janine Janine, right? That's my title. But then what I found was that then when we put someone in with the title of CEO, the dynamics change. So we have a rule that while we have a majority share in a business, we do not give the CEO title to anyone.
So there is a danger in structuring too early, if at all.
So I would be saying that where you need to put your money at the moment is in stores. Really invest in those managers. Once you actually start to get 4 or 5 stores, you need an area leader to go over those stores. I have never been the highest paid person in my business ever. And I also believe that the store managers should be one of your highest paid employees because they're the ones that make the difference.
I can confirm that's true for us.
And you have such a great provenance story as well. I mean, sitting around your mother's kitchen table going, it's the dream to say my mother's fried chicken is the best fried chicken that's good enough to sell to the rest of Australia. Yours literally is. You believe in it so much that you're building this business around that product. It's a beautiful story.
Where's your website? Your website is a very practical website, right? You've got bookings, order now, catering, gift cards. There's no storytelling. It's a nice looking website, but then create a storyteller. There's a family of 4 who we've got together and we're passionate about this. And every day we're thinking about how do we make this delicious product for you to actually just salivate over.
Definitely something for us to work on and just to tell the story a bit more.
To Melissa's point, how do you get the consumer to understand what's behind Fricken Chicken? And also, what's your positioning line?
We actually don't have an official tagline. And one of the ones that popped up, we thought maybe underneath could be something like the F word for flavor. We're trying to obviously have the best product that we can put out, but also in a fun and unique brand.
Yeah, it's almost how do we speak in the voice of the brand as you grow. Janine, do you have any last pieces of advice? I mean, you've given us so many nuggets of gold today already. Any last pieces of advice for Mo or for anybody out there listening to you in admiration of your story and what you've achieved?
I think probably the only thing is that, yes, you're creating an entity that will have a life of its own. Like children, when they're really little, they need everything from you, right? And as you get bigger, you're right, you can start to put C-suites in and people to manage the business. But at the start, they need everything of you, which means that your bucket gets empty pretty quick. So what I would say is that find your coping mechanisms, so don't give up. If you love to do gaming, don't give that up. If you like to go for a surf, don't give that up. If you like to hang out with friends, don't give that up. It's actually good for you and the business. So I think probably that's your main thing because you get caught in the weeds. I can give you all sorts of advice of business, but on this personal journey, because you're sort of at this early stage, just look after yourself.
Amazing. That's advice you can take to the bank no matter who you are. So thank you so much, Janine.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's amazing.
Hey, good luck. Well done. Congratulations on getting where you got to. It's an incredible mountain you've climbed.
Definitely have a lot to work on. And if I may, would it be okay to touch base in about 6 months just to update you on our journey?
Love to hear it.
That'd be amazing.
No worries, Moan. Good luck.
Janine, I want to thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. I think one thing that I'll take away from this is being good at taking complex situations and making them simple is something we should all strive for. And I think that Mo has a lot to think about now. So Mo Saad and Janine Allis, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Mo, you are legitimately fangirling right now.
A little bit. Yeah. Basically, after the last podcast,
Go on.
we were just thinking about having like an item that's named after you or related to something that you did. Yeah. So we're looking at a food and a product, and we thought something, obviously very relevant to yourself at Dessert Masters. What if we do a Mel shake? Not a milkshake, but a Mel shake.
A Mel shake.
Which is a honeycomb, because a honeycomb is the closest shape to the octagon, having relevancy to your current interests.
Melissa also means honey in Greek. That's great.
There you go. That's another one. And with lime and sea salt, just to contrast. So
love that.
Yeah.
I'd be honoured. That's tremendous.
Yeah.
Thank you. This has been Cool Room Confessional. Thank you for supporting the hospo business owners that have bared their souls and opened their books to give an insight into this industry we love so much. We hope you've learned a lot throughout the season. That's all from us now. Take care and tip your waiter. If you'd like to see some more examples of businesses overcoming these and other issues, head to Square's publication, The Bottom Line, at square.com/get/thebottomline. This podcast is thanks to Square. Hospitality has enough on their plate. Square builds business tools that help hospo businesses like yours run smoothly. It's more than just payments. From table layouts to a digital ticket system for your kitchen, it's all integrated and it all talks to each other, because service still matters. Find out more at square.com/my/service. We are proudly supported by American Express. Whether you're baking bread at sunrise or serving drinks into the night, American Express has your back. As a Square seller, you pay one low rate to accept all major cards, including American Express, and you can order complimentary signage to attract more customers directly to your door at amexpop.com/square.